In this lesson, we'll look at how we create unordered and ordered lists. In HTML, an unordered list is simply a list of bullet point items, just like you'd create in any word processing program. And an ordered list is simply a list of items which are numerically numbered, so your bullet points would be 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Let's have a look at how we can use unordered and ordered lists to structure data inside an HTML document. I'm going to fire off TextEdit, which is my HTML editor, perhaps Notepad on the PC, and I'll start creating an HTML document as we've seen before, using an opening HTML tag, and I'll create my opening head tag, and I'll close that head tag as soon as I create it, so that I don't forget. And I'll create my opening body tag, where the viewable content of my page will go, and I'll close that tag as well. And I'll close my HTML tag. I often lay down the structure of my page before I populate my page with content, just to make sure that I don't make incremental mistakes, because as you can see, it's very easy to type the wrong key, and sometimes it only takes one character for an HTML tag to be broken. But as I like to say, and I hope you start to think in the back of your mind, HTML is easily broken, but it's also easily fixed if you know what to look for. And since we want to make things easy on our eyes so we can look for things that might not be working right, I'm going to start to nest my HTML tags by indenting them by putting my cursor before a tag and hitting the Tab button, creating a bit of a hierarchy, indicating to me that the head element is contained within the HTML element, as is the body element and head element contained within the HTML element. But I'll continue creating my page now, and within my head element I will put a title tag, perhaps something along the lines of Best Chocolate Ice Cream in Boston, and a fictional name, the House of Ice Cream. And I'll close that title tag as soon as I finish writing my title, and I'll expand the size of my screen to make the text, or as I should say, our HTML code, a little bit easier on your eye to read. And before I go any further, I'm going to save this page. You're only one power failure away from losing everything you have. So from the File menu, I'll select Save, and in the Chapter 2 folder, I'll save this file with the name recipe_chocolate.htm, and click Save. And I can view that file in my browser by bringing up your default web browser. And if I open that file, I can see I've got nothing on my page because we have nothing in our body tag, but I can see that title, Best Chocolate Ice Cream in Boston, House of Ice Cream, which we have in our head element, is displayed at the top of the browser window. So if I switch back to my HTML, inside the body tag, and I'm just hitting the return key on my keyboard to add some more lines so that I have some space in which to type, I'm now going to create my first list. This list will be an unordered list, and we're going to create a list of ingredients that you'd use as if you were going to make chocolate ice cream. Within the body tag, I'll tab over a few times, and I'll create a heading, as we saw how to do in a previous lesson, using the H1 opening tag and typing recipe, colon and space, chocolate ice cream, and type a closing H1 tag to finish off that element. I'll hit the return key a couple of times, tab over a couple of times, and I'll create a second heading. This time one a little bit smaller, so I'll select the H2 tag, and I'll type ingredients, and close that element with a closing H2 tag. And as always, save your work as soon as you do something you like. Note here on the Macintosh, the keyboard hints to you Command and S. If this was Notepad on the PC, you'd be using the Control key on your keyboard and S to save your work without having to go to the File menu. So you could Command S. See how the File menu flickers like that? This file is now saved. And you can reload your web browser to see your titles beginning to come in. But now, back in our HTML file, we'll create our first list. To create a list in HTML, you need to define whether the list will be an unordered or ordered list as a starting point. So, I'll tab over a few times. Actually, I'll go down one more line just to keep this code clean, and tab over one more time beyond where my H2 element exists in my page, and I'll type the opening tag for an unordered list, which in this case is open caret, UL, close caret for unordered list, and I'm going to hit the return key a couple of times on my keyboard, and tab over again, and then type the closing UL tag. Now it's within this UL element that we'll define the items that are going to be in our list. The tag that we use when defining list items is, as the name might suggest, open caret LI for list item. And I'll close that tag as soon as I create it, out of habit. I suggest that habit is a good one for you to get into, because it's helped me on more than one occasion. And it's within this list item element that I will create what will be displayed in our web browser as bullet points. So since I'm enumerating a list of ingredients, I'll type out the ingredients that would be used to create chocolate ice cream. Now, if you look in the project files folder for chapter 2, you should find a text file, chocolate_ice_cream.txt. I'm just going to drag that file onto TextEdit, and you can see all of the ingredients necessary. We're going to use this text to create our unordered list, and as soon as we finish that, we'll move on to creating an ordered list, which we'll define to specify the directions for how you would create chocolate ice cream. So now, to get these ingredients into our HTML document, I'm just going to tile these windows so that it's easy to see both at the same time. You could start by typing the ingredients and putting each in their own list item. Or, as I'm guessing most of you would want to do, you can select the copy, and I'm selecting copy by using my mouse, clicking where I want my selection to begin, holding down my left mouse button, and dragging my mouse over the text that I want to copy. That highlights that text in blue, and from the Edit menu, I can then copy and switch over to my HTML page, position my cursor where I would like that copy to come into my document, and from the Edit menu, select Paste. And then I could tab over each of these lines by clicking before the first character in the line and hitting the Tab key on my keyboard, so that I don't have to type in that text, and I could just type in the list item opening and closing tags before and after each item in our list. You might be wondering, well, if I can copy in, instead of typing the text, can I copy and paste the HTML tags too? Sure. I'm going to copy that opening list item tag and paste it, and I'll paste it after that last list item again, and then I'll copy and paste the closing list item tag. You can see I'm using the menu to do that, but you don't have to. As you can see from the menu, you can paste using Command V or Control V on the PC, and I'll use Command V on my keyboard to paste that closing list item tag, which is stored in memory on my computer. Now, I'm just going to move this window back up so it's a little easier to see, and I'll take out that last extra space so that my HTML looks nice and clean. From the File menu, I'll save this document, and I will switch over to my web browser, which I can just barely see down there behind this window, and hit the reload button or refresh, and now I can see my bulleted list. My unordered list, as we'd say in HTML, appears properly inside the web browser. But we need more than ingredients to have chocolate ice cream. We have to put all the pieces together in the right order. So we'll create another list for the directions. If we switch back over to our HTML page and tab over a few times, we'll create another heading 2, and specify the directions for creating chocolate ice cream. I'll hit the return key on my keyboard a few times to give myself a little bit of space. And like with our unordered list, to create an ordered list, you will use an opening tag that sounds like the type of list you want to create. In this case, I want to create an ordered list, and I'll close that ordered list tag as soon as I create it. The ordered list tag being an O and an L, and the same with the closing tag for ordered list. And like with unordered lists, when we create an ordered list, the tag that we use to create our list items that go within that ordered list is the same tag we use when creating unordered lists, the LI tag. The only difference between ordered and unordered lists is the opening and closing tag we define when creating our list elements. So now for the directions, if I switch back over to that simple text document we can see we have a pile of text that you could type in, and I'm guessing that you don't want to do that because I don't want to do that either. So from our text document, we'll select the text, and with that selection defined, from the Edit menu, select Copy, and switch back over to your HTML page, and from the Edit menu, paste that copy where you would like it to appear in your page. And I'm going to position my mouse before the first character in each of these lines and tab that text over a bit so that it looks easier to read in the context of this HTML page. I'm doing this for each of these lines so that I can put an opening and closing list item tag before and after each line that we just copied and pasted into this file. So I'll just delete that extra list item just to tighten up this ordered list and type it in before the first character of the first list item and after the last character of the first list item. And now, all you need to do to complete this ordered list is type opening and closing list item tags for all of the items that are going to be numbered bullet points in this list. So I'll put in opening and closing list item tags, or you could just select that list item and copy it into memory, position it before the next item, and the next, and the next, and the same with the closing list item tag. Copy it into memory, and on your keyboard, or from the menu, paste. And paste Command V, Command V. I'll clean up this copy a little bit. And now from the File menu, I'll select Save. Switch over to my web browser. That's not my web browser, that's a text document. Here's my web browser. Hit the refresh button or reload, and now you can see your ordered list appears after the directions heading. And on one page we have both unordered and ordered lists.